Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to have a little chat about the potential for disappointment as we get further into ninth, as we travel deeper down the... I don't know where I'm going with this analogy, let's just stop it right there, otherwise it'll just get a bit too Slanesh, and I don't want this to be demonetised as well. Side note, actually the Goliath gang, the Team Girth video for Necromunda, miraculously still has ads, although they are heavily restricted, and I can only seem to see one at the end of the video and not one at the start and the middle. So, not instantly or totally demonetised. It did get demonetised twice and then reapproved, but now heavily restricted. So, that's fun. Mild tangent, I don't really know where I was going with that. Anyway, talk about disappointment. So, this is not a vague thing of disappointment, this is a very specific type of disappointment, which is the disappointment felt by Xenos players. Because, let's face it, quite often Xenos get the short end of the stick, and even just by describing it as Xenos players, that goes some way to showing just how lacking a lot of the releases are for factions that are not Space Marines. I mean, to be honest, you could also include Imperial Guard in there, and subsets of Space Marines, like Grey Knights. Neither of them get much attention either. But really, when it comes to the sheer number of other factions compared to Space Marines, Xenos players get the short end of the stick pretty frequently. The thing is, that has changed slightly. Now, of course, when I say Xenos players, there are a bunch of different factions, and doing a massive release for one faction doesn't actually help anyone who doesn't play that faction. So, something that I've seen a fair bit as we've had just Necron kit after Necron kit be announced is people saying, oh, well, I don't know why Xenos players would even complain now. Necrons have got loads of stuff. Yeah, except if you play Eldar, that doesn't help you. If you play Dark Eldar, that doesn't help you. In fact, if you don't play Necrons, the Necrons getting a shed load of kits is of absolutely no use to you whatsoever. The thing is, the Necron release has been really, really good. Like, really good. There are so many new kits, and we've had decent updates to old kits. The new Warriors look great. The new Flayed ones look like the old Flayed ones, which makes them way better than the Finecast Flayed ones, which are terrible, and I've never liked them, and I never will like them, and there's nothing you can say to change my mind. The new ones are so much better. The Necrons have got a bunch of new units, they've got a bunch of refreshed units, they have actually taken the personality of that army and brought it closer to what it was when they were first released. They've gone for the more cosmic horror angle. It is, for a lot of people, myself included, the golden age when it comes to fresh, new, exciting Necron stuff. That doesn't help if you play Dark Eldar, because Necron and Dark Eldar are not the same thing, as you are well aware. The thing is that we've had this massive Necron release, and there's been a bunch of crazy new, awesome models, and loads of stuff to look forward to, and there is, I feel, a mild hope rising. I've seen multiple comments along the lines of, I can't wait until they do that with my faction. Particularly, I've seen it in relation to Tyranids quite a few times. The issue here is that if that doesn't happen for each faction, it's going to feel kind of garbage. Space Marines have had a massive bunch of releases over the last... their entire existence. Necrons, by contrast, have had a massive release, but it's been very contained in this last couple of months. When you look at the number of Xenos factions that have had almost no support, that have had no new kits, that have had nothing to expand them or update them for a significant number of years, it's very easy to look at the size and scope of the new Necron release and go, it would be amazing. It would be so good if I got that for my faction. The problem being, of course, that there is absolutely no guarantee that that is going to happen for every faction. I mean, this is obviously something that's been built up to for quite some time. I mean, all of their releases are. I don't think Games Workshop ever sits down and goes, next week we need to release a new thing. Sculptors, off you go. It's obviously a lot more planned out than that. But there's already been a few people that I've seen who are like, yes, my time is coming. Something this big for Tyranids would be amazing. And it would. But, I think one factor that can't be overstated is the new edition, like, hype, the new edition build-up that I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure, in fact, will have impacted how much stuff Necrons get. This isn't just a general refresh. This isn't bringing, like, a couple of troops back up to date or, you know, re-releasing a new character. Things we've seen for Eldar and Dark Eldar recently. Things we've seen in terms of things like Marnia's Kalgar getting updated. That's not what this is. This feels like something far more significant. And, of course, it's more significant because it is tied into a massive release. The launch of a new edition is something that needs to be pushed, it needs to be hyped. The 2 new codexes that come out of the new edition need to have some sort of drive behind them. There needs to be something to push people towards it. That is what this feels like. I think it would be very, very optimistic to the point of maybe setting yourself up for disappointment later to look at what Necrons are getting now and go, well, if they're doing that for them, surely they're going to do it for everyone else. Now, what I hope is that this is an incredibly cynical attitude to have, and that this is me sitting there and essentially casting shade where shade does not need to be cast. That actually the next time we do have a Xenos release, that it is of the same kind of size and scale of the Necron one. But I don't reasonably see that happening. This is a celebration release. This is a push to get people into the new edition, to start a new force, to drum up interest in the faction that is being pitted against Space Marines as the, you know, the forefront of the new conflict, the new age, so to speak. It would be amazing if Tyranids got this exact kind of release. A whole bunch of updates, a whole bunch of new kits. It would be amazing if Dark Eldar got the same. It'd be amazing if all the Xenos factions suddenly had this mass refresh. Not just a refresh, but with actual new units coming in that perhaps in some ways aren't strictly necessary. I mean, the Ophidian Destroyers kind of feel somewhat similar in terms of concept to the Canoptek Wraiths, but then again, that's because the Canoptek Wraiths are essentially an evolution of the original Necron Wraiths, and the new Ophidian Destroyers are just the old Necron Wraiths but with destroyer arms strapped onto them. So you can see why there might be a bit of crossover there. But I think it's unwise to totally absorb all of that and go, that's the new way of operating. That is the new way they're going to tackle everything. I think tempering expectations for the next few Xenos releases is so much more important now than it ever has been, because there is a build-up of expectation, there is a build-up of, but what if? What if is great, but don't let what if become, they are totally going to do this. Don't let the, I would like this, become the, well, I want it, so naturally it must be how it's going to happen. That never ends well, and in the context of factions that have been long neglected, or factions that have just not had the attention that they deserve, that kind of build-up could only lead to a significant amount of frustration if you're not careful. Now, what I want to know is if you guys have been getting that bit of hope, that bit of build-up, that kind of feeling that if this is how things are now, surely everyone is going to get something similar. Are you feeling that way, or do you think that this is just the launch party, so to speak, and things will settle into what we're used to? I'd be interested to know whether you're starting to cave to that idea, to that hope, or whether you are being a bit more, I was going to say realistic, cynical. Let's say cynical, because it would be nice if it turned out to be real, and therefore cynical would be the right approach to it. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you would like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.